pockets of the economy are feeling the effects. The first effects are anybody who buys steel and aluminum to put into the stuff they make. So, for instance, the government tells us that the price of washing machines and dryers is up 50% over the last 3 months. That reflects the fact that the president imposed tariffs on imported washing machines and tariffs. What's happening today is a new round of tariffs against China, and that's beginning to take its toll. We see some people laying off workers. There's a e-bike company in Seattle that imports the bikes that it designs from China. It's called Rad Bikes. They're raising the price today from $1,500 to $1,700 and blaming it on the tariffs. But if you look at the overall economy, this is having a very modest effect. Estimates are that the GDP grew by more than 3% in the third quarter, and inflation, though creeping up, still isn't going up very far. So it's a reminder that in this country, we still consume most of what we make, and we make most of what we consume.
We have heard that the talks between China and the United States didn't seem to yield much of anything in terms of any concrete results or even the next round of talks at this point. If this continues to ratchet up and we really do get to the next lever, which I think is an additional $200 billion of imports that we'd be putting tariffs on, what would that mean for our economy and for China's economy?
Well, I think you're right. I mean, I think basically it looks like they're making some progress in talks with Mexico to retool the NAFTA agreement, but that there's no progress with China whatsoever. The Chinese basically are saying that the U.S. wants three kinds of things. One set of things is buy more U.S. goods. They say we can talk about that. A second set of things is give American companies doing business in China a little more maneuvering room. The Chinese says, well, we can talk about that. It'll take a while. But the third basket is President Trump is asking them to change their whole business model, and the Chinese are refusing. So it's basically a game of chicken, and I think that the more the tariffs go up, the more these isolated effects will spread. I don't think it's going to destroy the American economy unless it spills over to the stock market and to business confidence.
What's happening in China at this point? And I guess I'm trying to get, if this is a game of chicken, who's going to blink first? Who's going to be forced to blink first because they're feeling pressure at home?
No, I think this is hurting China, or will hurt China, more than it hurts the U.S. China exports 20% of its GDP. We export 12% of our GDP. Our economy seems to have substantial momentum. Theirs is slowing down, and they're trying to avoid creating a massive debt bubble, so they're struggling. So I think the economic effects will be tougher on China, and that favors President Trump. On the other hand, China, as you may have noticed, is not a democracy.
Right.
So they may be able to take the pain a lot more than President Trump. I mean, we may see in November that trade effects, tariffs, farmers being angry, manufacturers laying off workers and blaming the president, that may hurt Republicans at the polls. The Chinese don't have to worry about that problem.